Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Impressive. The virtual universe company sure is impressive. They actually give me this as the final of the highest point mission, and they even make me sentence my father. Luo Feng clearly remembered all the details of the 21 people on the list, of which the clearest in his mind was that of his father. His father's name there, it stated he had killed many important universe citizens. Of course his father had never done anything personally. One had to know he had always been on Earth and all he does was play virtual universe games, and he naturally couldn't make a move himself. The information the company had given was, Luo Hongguo was one of the die-hard players of the virtual universe game Grey Snow World. The virtual games had a huge influence on the 1008 universe countries. Because, to become an absolute warrior, it took tens of thousands of warriors for one universe level to be produced, sector lord chances were much lower. Hence, with many unable to progress on that path, having no dreams to pursue and rich offspring, jobs that gave them lots of time, they would all naturally choose to play these games. 100% simulation, it felt exactly like reality. If they couldn't become an absolute warrior in reality, they may still become one in these games. They could still command an army and dominate the world. How intoxicating was that? Hence, the virtual universe games were an exceptionally developed business. They had a huge market and the competition within was naturally terrifying. The games the virtual universe company made themselves, however, take up a huge portion of the market, of which, Grey Snow World was one of the top 10 games. The highest amount of online players at a time had even reached 1/3 of citizens in a universe country. With that many players, the benefits within the game were naturally shocking. Luo Hongguo, with Luo Feng as his son, he was naturally one of the wealthy players within. His son would casually give him wealth equivalent to that of a sector lord to play. And the true warriors would normally only play these games a little. Training and strengthening their body was the most fundamental to them. Luo Hongguo had money and was incredibly passionate about the games. Thirdly, he had a talent to play these games. Last but not least, Luo Feng had forcefully made his father reach universe level. Hence, his consciousness level and reaction speeds etc. were far ahead of many other players. Naturally, he made a name within. Luo Hongguo had created a union within, called Nirvana. The Nirvana union grew extremely fast. However, with the players of Grey Snow World spread throughout the 1008 universe countries, many of them being the descendants of families with no hope of growing stronger, they had a lot of time to kill. These were the empty souls of reality, but they grew alive through the games. Hence, the competition amongst the unions within the games were usually brutal. Hence, this eventually resulted in disasters within reality as well. For example, the members of a union may appear in reality to kill another, making it naturally crumble. Even though the virtual universe company wouldn't reveal its players' information, the communication between players may result in unintentional revelation of information. There were also many players that called their friends by names, when a large group of them were playing together. The moment one person was compromised, everyone's information would definitely be revealed. During the growth of the Nirvana Union, there were thousands of assassination incidents in reality. Some of them were extremely brutal. As the leader of the Nirvana Union, Luo Hongguo naturally had to take up this responsibility. Stupid. Luo Feng raged within. He was so mad that he was about to go crazy. My father had always been a normal person who worked very hard in life. When he was young, he didn't even get to go to school before the great Nirvana happened. Later on, he worked hard to take care of me and my brother. He doesn't know anything about schemes. Without a good education, plain and simple, how could he have the makings of a leader of a union? How could Luo Feng not be clear on how his father was like? No matter what he did, he worked hard to survive and grow his family. When he played the virtual games he was completely immersed within. How would he know about the dangers hidden within? At its peak, 1/3 of the civilians of a universe country are online playing it simultaneously. That means at its peak, there was one playing out of 3,000 civilians at the time. Luo Feng had tried playing the games before. Every game was like a new world altogether. It was extremely addictive. A game with that many players, how huge are its benefits? With the payouts, there would naturally be schemes and hidden things going on. The Nirvana Union's growth speed, how shocking is it? Simply relying on his father, gathering countless elites to grow the union in the game itself, that wasn't too possible. If his father had such foresight and skill, he wouldn't have had to work hard for 10 to 20 years to support them before. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Maybe it's because has money, or they know of his status, they think that the father of the supervisor envoy of the Ganwu department is powerful enough. Hence they all entered and helped build his union. Ganwu department supervisor envoy. Huge figure. To those players, this was an absolute power that ranked in the top 10 of a universe country. For his father to actually play the game and to build a union, they would naturally join him. Having money and power naturally had their benefits. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-star bay. Luo Feng's house. Give the order. Luo Feng ordered. Swiftly capture these 20, don't let any of them get away. After which, he slammed a piece of paper on the table. Why are you unhappy? Shuxin looked at the paper. The 20 names on the list. Luo Fuxin, Luo Yuqian, Luo Yurong. Shuxin was shocked after reading the list. She looked at Luo Feng and asked suspiciously, why are you capturing these 20? They all have their own businesses, and are considered exceptional amongst the later generations of offspring in the Luo family. Their businesses are doing all right, of which 3 of them, I was prepared to absorb into the family for important matters. Absorb them? Luo Feng said coldly, don't speak anymore, hurry and capture these 20. Remember, don't let anyone get away. All right. Shuxin didn't ask any more, immediately arranging for their captures. When it came to the main matters in the family, Shuxin was usually in charge of them. In terms of management ability, she was indeed strong. Also, grab all of them and bring them to Qianhua planet. Luo Feng said coldly, I'll be there in 3 days. The previous 3 missions had never enraged Luo Feng this much. It may be from the fact that his later generations weren't determined enough, or the fact that the Virtual Universe Company purposely made him do such a thing. The raging Luo Feng didn't want to slowly fly over from the Jiyu Lun Virtual Universe country in a ship. He used Dylan's God country teleportation to immediately return to the Milky Way galaxy. The youth carefully examined the ladies, complimenting, my dear Ka to Orsai, I am very grateful to you. I'll give you an extra 25% share of the energy crystals that you require. 25%. I spend so much energy just to get so little, what a stingy fellow. The middle-aged man cursed within. However, he still displayed a smile full of gratitude, saying, Lord Luo, you are too generous. If you need anything just give the order, I will do my best. Rumble, rumble, rumble. 3 beams of light shot down from the sky. Who is it? To actually dare barge in on Luo residence. As they roared, a group of universe-level slave guards rushed out. The 3 beams of light landed directly before the youth, releasing their powerful energies. 3 domain lords. The middle-aged man shuddered as he saw them. In the low-level civilization of the Silver Blue Empire, the strongest was only domain lord level 3. And now, 3 domain lords appear before them. Who are you? How dare you barge in on Luo residence? Luo Fuxin, on the family leader's orders, we are here to arrest you. One of the 3 domain lords took out a warrant and captured the terrified Luo Fuxin after. Su. They flew black through the skies. I am Luo Yuqian, how dare you capture me? You must be tired of living. I am a member of the Luo family, who are you? The Ganwu supervisor envoy is my family leader, how dare you capture me? The offspring of the Luo family had power even greater than the royal family of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire princes, and these 20 were considered vicious within the family. With such methods, their achievements were naturally huge. However, when they found out it was the leader that had sent for them to be captured, they were all stunned. Rumble. The blood-colored triangular ship became a beam of light rushing towards the Milky Way galaxy's Qianhua planet. Within the control room, Luo Feng's cold gaze stared at the planet before him, almost like he could see the captured offspring of the family within. Qianhua planet, it was an important place for the Luo family in the Milky Way galaxy. And since Earth was discovered to be valuable by the Virtual Universe Company and the huge Axe Dojo, having a huge floating city built on Earth, Luo Feng began to decrease the use of the old Luo residence. Instead, he focused more on the home in the Virtual Universe Black Dragon Mountain Island in 9-star bay. Qianhua planet was one of their important gathering spots too. The number of Luo family members staying here long-term exceeded 60,000. Qianhua planet, East Hemisphere, there was a jail for the Luo family surrounded by a copper wall with a diameter of over 1,000 kilometers. Great-grandfather, save me, save me. Within a cell, a handsome Luo Fuxin knelt within and grabbed the bars and cried. Within each of these cells were railings and other constructs of a normal jail. The materials used were of C9 to E9 alloys. H. Just what did you do to make the family leader catch you? Luo Hai's eyes gleamed like lightning, looking angrily at Luo Fuxin. Great-grandfather, I really don't know, I really don't know. I've always held myself to high standards, I didn't dare break the family set limits. Even though he was afraid within, on the surface he still maintained his innocent composure. He carefully recalled everything he did before. He thought he had been extremely cautious and prudent, not leaving any traces behind. There was no way for him to know. The Virtual Universe Company had surveillance throughout all the life planets, especially any planet that had humans, on few aboriginal planets and others yet to be discovered, along with warrior territories. All these were all completely under surveillance. Everything Luo Fuxin had done, although it was untraceable by the family investigation team, the Virtual Universe Company however could find out everything easily. All right, I'll help you. As long as you haven't broken the family rules, I will guarantee you that you won't die. Luo Hai emphasized. Luo Feng had two sons, Luo Hai and Luo Ping. Luo Hai was a lot like Luo Feng. He enjoyed training and exploring the universe. Luo Ping was more like his mother Shu Xin. He enjoyed management matters. The two of them had received the most exceptional education and hundreds of years of training. Both of them were very smart. Over the hundreds of years, Luo Hai had countless descendants too, of which there were naturally a few he favored. Luo Fu Xin was one that he pampered more. Qianhua Planet, Luo Family's Plaza. Over 100,000 people had gathered here, all dressed differently. Other than the men in the family, many of their wives had gathered there too. Standing ahead of the entire crowd was Shu Xin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai, along with Di Fan and some other sector lords. Rumble. A blood-colored triangular ship descended and landed in the plaza. The 100,000 people all didn't dare make a sound. Many of them were shivering with excitement as they saw the cabin door open. The Luo family's most exceptional foundation and core, he was the pillar of the entire family. The family leader Luo Feng, he had finally come. Many of the people were seeing him for the first time. Many children dragged over by their parents all stared wide-eyed. Hua! The cabin door opened. Two silhouettes walked out. One of them was a black-haired youth in green armor. He had a gold blade on his forehead. That powerful piercing gold law energy made people shudder. Beside him was a black-robed bald man that gave off an immense and seemingly endless amount of power. This made the countless family members all shiver with excitement. That is the family leader. What terrifying energy. Beside him is the legendary Undying Guard of his. Undying, yet is only a guard for our family leader. They were all extremely excited. Suddenly, greetings family leader. 100,000 family members all knelt down. Only Shu Xin, Luo Ping, Luo Hai and few others remained standing. Luo Feng and Dylan flew down. Simultaneously Luo Feng kept the Yunmo planet ship. After which, Luo Feng brought Shu Xin and the others towards the living quarters. The 100,000 people waited till he left before all getting up, leaving and dispersing. Within the warm living room, Luo Feng, Shu Xin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai all sat about casually in the sofa. Dad. Luo Hai couldn't help but ask again, why have you ordered for the capture of these 20? That Luo Fu Xin, I watched him grow up since young, he's very exceptional and smart, don't accuse wrongly the disciples of the family. Shut up. Luo Feng ordered coldly. Luo Hai was completely shocked. Luo Ping and Shu Xin were shocked too. They could feel that Luo Feng's temper today was explosive. Exceptional. Smart. Luo Feng said coldly, however he didn't use it in the right ways. 1. He doesn't train seriously to become a warrior. 2. He relies on underhanded methods to run his business. He already has the Ganwu business department's full support, and the help of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. If he works just a little, there's no way he can fail. However he still uses these methods. Looks like he was brought up used to being pampered, without any setbacks. The moment he encounters an opponent, or obstruction, he doesn't know how to use competition to win them over. Instead, he simply kills them. Smart indeed, exceptional. Luo Hai, Luo Ping and Shu Xin were shocked. Luo Feng, do you have proof? Shu Xin asked. The family investigation department didn't. They didn't find anything, that's their incompetence. This is the information the virtual universe company gave me personally. It's definitely solid and foolproof. Would it be wrong? Luo Feng frowned. Also, with the family growing more and more, and our resource growing along with it, we are allowing the later generations enjoy the benefits. However, even with so much resources, against a sea of people it would still be little. Hence, we have to increase the difficulty of actually acquiring these benefits, selections, competition, also training them well, strengthening the rules of the family. Shu Xin nodded. These are all within the plan. Chem. Luo Feng nodded, the rage on his face finally dissipating a little. He sighed. I know that the large families of the universe, with the amount of people within, would naturally have such problems. However, I didn't expect for the bloodline members, at below 1 million to already have such problems. Shu Xin, help me prepare. When all 20 are here, I want to hold family trial, make all the members on Qianhua planet come. All right. Shu Xin nodded. This trial was extremely important and Luo Feng was very prudent about it, not just for the virtual universe company, but also for his family. He wanted to use this, to scare his family, letting them know the severity of breaking the family rules. The moment the family rules were unbridled, there would be many corrupt members within the family. This was something he didn't wish to see. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this is the information you requested. Look, it's Luo Fu Xin. It's Luo Tianqi. Wow, it's Luo Fangqiong, the beauty in the family. She was captured too. The many members were shocked as they watched the scene. 20 members of the family, all of them were forced to kneel on the ground. Su. There was nobody initially in the main seat earlier. Suddenly one silhouette appeared. It was a black-armored Luo Feng. His gaze was as sharp as blades as he looked down on the 20. Family leader. Close to 100,000 members all shouted respectfully, after which there was silence. Family leader. The 20 members kneeling below all looked up in fear at the legendary being. He was a true power and pillar of the family, ranked in the top 10 of the absolute powers of the entire Ganwu universe country, Luo Feng, and right now he was gazing coldly at them, like they were 20 ants. Amongst the close to 100,000 people, Xu Xin, Luo Ping and Luo Hai etc. were there too. Luo Fuxin, do you know your crimes? Luo Feng said coldly. Family leader, I don't know. Luo Fuxin knelt there. The knowledge from before all useless, he could only force the words out. You don't, you have only been living for about 100 years. Luo Feng's voice was cold, yet you've killed over 10,000 innocent people that have never had any grudges with you, only because they affected your business. Killing in itself is not wrong, but after killing so many innocent people, you should die too. Ah! Luo Fuxin stared wide-eyed wanting to say more. You think that the Family Investigation Department can't find anything? Yes, you are very careful and clever, not leaving any traces behind. However, if the family cannot find it, it doesn't mean the virtual universe company can't. Luo Feng stood high above and looked down on him. Luo Fuxin's face immediately went pale. The 19 others kneeling behind all changed their expressions when they heard that, and close to 100,000 people listening in court all were shocked as well. And why God? So the family leader could check through the virtual universe company's information department on all of them. The company was such a huge power. Who would dare say they couldn't find anything? I sentence you to death. Luo Feng raised his fingers. Luo Fuxin fell on the ground of the court, as fresh blood flowed from his forehead. This scene made everybody shudder. That's the family leader. He really doesn't show any mercy. Too strict. The family members all had a blind sense of worship and respect to this legendary being Luo Feng. The entire family started from him. If anyone else in the family was carrying out this trial and that sparked disagreement, no one would dare even be any bit unsatisfied with Luo Feng carrying out any punishment. They would only think of him as strict. Next, Luo Yuqian. Luo Feng gazed at the next person below. Do you know your crimes? The beautiful Luo Yurong that looked almost like a girl was completely pale. He put his head on the ground and said, Yuqian knows his crimes. Luo Yurong. Luo Feng's gaze landed on a gentle-looking girl that looked exactly like Luo Yuqian beside. Do you know your crimes? Family leader, I. Luo Yurong seemed to want to tear before lowering her head. I do. Luo Feng nodded. He immediately sentenced them, Luo Yurong, for bewitching your older brother Luo Yuqian, you cannot be pardoned, death. After which Luo Feng lifted his finger and shot a gold beam of light. This gold law-infused attack pierced right through her forehead, leaving behind a bloody cavity. Rumble. Luo Yurong fell on the floor, her face still filled with shock, regret, resentment. Little sister. Luo Yuqian immediately stared wide-eyed, his tears flowing. Luo Feng said coldly above, Luo Yuqiang, you pamper and empower your sister, not separating business and family ties. I sentence you to 10,000 years in jail. Large amounts of the members within the court were all shocked. This was because Luo Yuqian's name in the family was actually very well reputed, and they could tell that their crimes were mostly because of his younger sister. Jail for 10,000 years, he was only still at the star level. His lifespan wasn't longer than one era. He would simply die in jail. Unless he could break through to universe level in jail. Otherwise, he would stay in there till he died. Also, without all the resources the Luo family provided, just simply relying on his own capability, it was simply too hard to break through to universe level. The entire court was tense. Luo Feng gazed coldly at the members below and carried out their sentences one by one. The virtual universe company had intentionally arranged for different levels of crimes within the 21, some heavier, some light, some with lesser information. Luo Feng, however, went according to the detailed information the information department had given him. His sentences were carried out according to the family rules. Luo Feng didn't care about any of the different rules of the universe country. The Luo family had its own rules, some areas extremely strict, some more lax. It was something Luo Feng, Xu Xin, Luo Hua and others had worked together to put in place. 20 family members, of which 13 were sentenced to death, 4 were jailed for 10,000 years and 3 for 100 years. One had to know that amongst these 20, only one had become universe level and he was put to death by Luo Feng. Hence, those that were jailed for 10,000 years, all faced a dilemma. They had to break through to universe level within the jail or they'd simply grow old and die within. Death. When Luo Feng killed the final member there, the atmosphere in the court had reached an extreme level. In the past, when they held their trials, the death sentences weren't carried out in the court there, and they weren't done by the family leader himself. All of my members listen carefully. Luo Feng's eyes gazed coldly at the surrounding close to 100,000 members in the court, saying coldly, The family rules aren't for you to mess with, even if you think you can get past the family investigation. Do you think you can get past the virtual universe company's information department? The close to 100,000 members all listened intently. Along the path of becoming strong, killing is normal, killing a person in rage is normal. Luo Feng said coldly, and even accidentally killing one or two innocents can be explained as carelessness. However, by killing 100 to thousands, these are intentional acts. Do you think you can explain that? Even for a sector lord or undying, the moment they pass the limit, they too would be put to death. Don't think that the family will protect you and allow you to carry on with your ways. Don't think that you are clever enough to avoid the investigation department and thus continue on. You want to simply enjoy life, no problem. The lowest family resource grants can completely allow you to play virtual games till you die. However, these too have a limit. The moment you pass the limit, Luo Feng pointed below at the scene of fresh blood, bodies, and lifelessness, the terrifying picture, you'll end up like them. After which, Luo Feng became a beam of light and left, leaving behind the silent members within. They were all shocked. Almost all of them went back to carefully study the family rules, to prevent themselves from ever having to receive such punishments. The scene today had let all of them know that Luo Feng wasn't joking. This news also swiftly spread to the other members who were dispersed throughout the many starfields and planets, as all of them watched the broadcast of the trial. Including the women, the members exceeded over 1 million, and they were all shocked. Some of them who were doing evil deeds had immediately changed their ways. Qianhua planet. Luo Feng stood on the top floor of a palace and said solemnly, "My father Luo Hongguo, innocent. The virtual universe company requested for 21 to be judged. No matter what, he still had to do it. Even though Luo Feng didn't capture his father or sentence him, he had long made his decision about him. To kill his father. Close the synchronized broadcast." Luo Feng said softly. "Got it." Barbata cheered. "The highest point mission is finally over." "Chem, it's over." Luo Feng nodded gently. Whether it was the completion rate of the 4th level or how much extra reward they would give him, these were all matters for the upper echelon members to decide. At least, it was all over now. The final 4th level with the most points. The first level was judging 18 executives of the Flame Wind organization. The second level was choosing which to one save. The third was judging the 19 sector lords and 2 undyings in front of the Blood Demon Emperor. The 4th level was judging his own family members, including his father. Testing my character? Seeing how I truly am? Luo Feng thought. Now that the mission is over, I wonder if they can understand who I truly am. Night. The top level of the palace was very cold. Luo Feng stood there silently. Feng. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned. It was Xu Xin in a white fur coat. She smiled. "What are you thinking about? Are you still thinking about today's trial? You had indeed shocked all the children of the family. Even those in the faraway galaxies and other starfields were all shocked. That's good, they should be afraid." Luo Feng said. "Right." Xu Xin nodded. Xu Xin. Luo Feng suddenly flipped his hand and produced a simple-looking laser gun. "This is..." Xu Xin was shocked. "E9 laser gun." Luo Feng smiled and explained. "Its storage time is 0.1 seconds and it can kill normal sector Lord level 9 warriors. This E9 laser gun, combined with the planet security system, the moment any enemy barges into the planet, with the security system triggering the gun, in a short 0.1 seconds, even a sector lord wouldn't be able to rush over. After its preparation is complete, when you are close, just fire it and kill him. This is definitely an ultimate weapon." Luo Feng, "Why do I feel like you are planning something?" Xu Xin said suspiciously. "Chem, I will be gone for a long time this time." "Very long, far longer than any time before." Luo Feng said. "Where to?" Xu Xin asked. "Primal Chaos City." Luo Feng said. "How long?" Xu Xin asked nervously. "Not sure, at least 1,000 years." Luo Feng sighed. "When I come back next time, I'll be Sector Lord Pinnacle." "At least 1,000 years, and in Primal Chaos City?" Xu Xin asked curiously. "I know a lot about training matters too, and you are now already recognized by the Gold Laws. This training didn't even take 500 years, and your training efficiency in Primal Chaos City is much higher too. Why do you need to train for so long? You wouldn't understand." Luo Feng said. "Ah." Xu Xin didn't bother anymore. "Anyway, we can meet in the virtual universe network." Luo Feng saw how his wife didn't seem to care much. He couldn't help but laugh. The normal management of the super organization Ping Hai Company and the family matters were all taken care of by her, and it was only before him that she acted this way. She normally upheld a sense of power and fear. "Luo Feng, there's mail. It must be regarding the highest point mission." Barbata's voice resounded within his mind. "Ah!" Luo Feng sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe network. Virtual universe primal region, Luo Feng's villa. Luo Feng sat before his desk and opened his laptop, gently tapping open the mail. You've completed the 4th level of the highest point mission. The members have made their judgment and you've acquired a completion rate of 70%, getting 280,000 points. This is the end of the highest point mission. Luo Feng frowned. Only 70%. During these 4th mission, especially regarding the matter with his father's judgment, he had indeed simply deemed him innocent. However, he still sentenced the rest of the members fairly. Let's see what the comments say. Luo Feng continued reading the mail. Evaluation: you were sent to sentence 21 people this time. However, with regards to your father, you didn't even capture him nor did you interrogate him. You didn't complete the 4th level mission at all. It's obvious in your bones, you heavily respect your father, and didn't wish to sentence him. Even though your father is obviously innocent, he still cannot avoid responsibility. Jailing him for 100 years should be the lightest punishment that should have been carried out, yet you judged him innocent. When it came to public and private matters, you were biased. We only give you 70% completion this time. We hope you will be clearer on business and personal matters next time. After finishing the evaluation, Luo Feng didn't feel any different within. For Luo Feng, who had reached the limit in mental state training, even if Hong or Thunder God had tried to convince him, it would still be hard to move him. It could be seen how stubborn he was, or how strongly he believed in his ways. He closed the mail coldly, opening another new mail. Reward for highest point mission? Luo Feng smiled and looked. If all levels of the mission had a 100% completion rate, he would get 1 million extra points. According to the performance of all 4 levels, we will give you 600,000 extra points. We hope you can use it wisely. Luo Feng was moved within. An extra 600,000 points. At this point, his total points would be 82,000 from the first level, 180,000 from the second, 300,000 from the third, 280,000 from the fourth and an extra 600,000 for completing all 4 missions for a total of 1.442 million points. It was 72.1% of the total 2 million points he could get. It didn't even hit the marginal 80%. The score was obviously just average. Overall evaluation: even though you massacred over 1 million in the first level, you were still clear enough to spare the innocent. This proves that you are very calm even when you kill. And despite your bloodthirst, you still chose the 10 billion weaker people to save. This shows you pity the weak. The 3rd level showed that you aren't afraid of strength. You'd rather not submit and follow your beliefs in finishing the mission. Bloodthirsty and yet calm, also showing pity for the weak and are unafraid of fear. If only your 4th level had done as well as the first 3, we would have given you an extra 900,000 points as bonus. However, during a similar mission of judging 21 people, only this time it was against your family, your change however shocked us, especially against your father. You didn't even wish to judge him, not even catching him or putting on a show. It's obvious that your family's influence on you is huge, to a point where you cannot distinguish your personal matters from the rules and law. Humans are social creatures and should indeed respect their family. However, everything should be done within a certain level of expectation. It's obvious that you have crossed that line in this aspect. You should be more aware of this. The highest point mission is now over. As to how the virtual universe company viewed him from this mission, Luo Feng couldn't be bothered. Excessive in this aspect. I respect my father too much. Luo Feng laughed coldly. What a joke, what a bunch of arrogant idiots. Under his first and second brother's guidance, he had carefully studied ancient books from China, gaining a sense of clarity from them, and many ideologies had resonated with him. Since ancient times, there was a saying in ancient China that of all virtues, filial piety comes first. Filial piety was of the utmost importance. Primal Chaos City was the only ancient city within this entire universe. Rumble, an oval ship stopped in the air above, its cabin door opened and a large group of human silhouettes flew out. Amongst which, a green-armored Luo Feng was mixed within. He wasn't noticeable at all. 100 people flew out. A black beam of light flew over to greet them. It was a black-robed man with green scales covering his head. This man smiled malevolently. I am the emissary of Primal Chaos City. Most of you aren't here for the first time. Those familiar with the rules of Primal Chaos City can carry on. I believe you know what to do. And for those that are here for the first time, please follow me. Su. 22 silhouettes followed the black-robed man as he led them away. These 22 were those that had gotten in through auctions or other methods and were here for the first time. And the rest of the 100 headed in their own directions, dispersing. Luo Feng gently landed in a spacious pathway. As he looked around, he noticed that the distant balconies had large amounts of warriors sitting crossed-legged and training. Sector lords and undyings could be seen everywhere. However, most of them were undyings. As for the energies emanating from them, even the Sector Lord energies, since these were Sector Lords training in Primal Chaos City, they were much stronger than the normal Sector Lords outside. Primal Chaos City, humanity's sacred training ground. Luo Feng exclaimed. Just from the sacred training ground one could see the difference. The Goldhorn race's sacred training ground was simply a piece of land carved out from the world they lived in. Humanity's sacred training ground, however, was a primal universe specially used to hold 52 primal chaos tablets, and the leader of the city was one that far exceeded the power of the Doyens in the Goldhorn race. This was humanity, a pinnacle race in the universe. Very good, this a good training place. Luo Feng looked around. I have to choose a good living spot, I'll pick somewhere close to teacher. After a while, Luo Feng picked a quiet spot about 1,000 kilometers away from his teacher's residence. Once he walked near the white entrance door, he gently placed his hand on it and it triggered the system. The color began to change to a dark gray. From then on, Luo Feng was the owner of this residence. Every room within the quarters was spacious. Even though there were rooms within, large amounts of the warriors still sat crossed-legged on the balconies. From today on, I'm going to live here for over 1,000 years, this will be my home. Luo Feng followed the staircase up and quickly reached the balcony. The balcony was close to 100 m wide, much bigger than the field he had in high school. There were random scribbles all around the balcony. These were obviously left behind by the warriors that had trained and stayed here before in history. Luo Feng believed that someday he too would leave behind his own scribbles. He sat crossed-legged, feeling the coldness of the balcony. He looked up at the skies. The primal energies revolved in the sky, tiers stretching across the skies with complex engravings and threads of energies flowing about. The laws were visible and it was calming to one's soul. From today on, I will be here on this balcony for a long time. Luo Feng smiled. After returning to the first floor's living room, the service AI of the place had already prepared a hot pot of tea. He lay on the fur sofa, lifting the cup of hot tea. He gently smelled the fragrant tea and sipped. As he drank it down from his mouth, he felt the warmth spread throughout his body. After which, he began to think at an incredibly fast speed. He loved to sip tea and ponder at the same time. I now have the Beast God statue and the picture of the large sleeping Beast God, Time-Space Scribbles 3rd volume, Floating Snow, Nanshan Armaments 36 levels, Illusionary Techniques, Deities of the World, Absolute Space, Ancient Pictures, and Sky-Tearing Claw. I also have over 6 million mixed elements and over 1 million points. Luo Feng pondered on all his possessions. He clearly planned out his training. Normally, sector lords would all begin to create their own techniques and their own weapons. Luo Feng was prepared to hit sector lord level in Primal Chaos City. Since his law comprehension now was already at a very high level, he could begin to create his own technique. Techniques were mostly separated into study and battle. The study type was basically used to aid in raising one's comprehension of the laws. The higher the comprehension, the stronger the power. The laws were akin to internal strength. The battle techniques, however, were more about the usage of these laws. When learning the same laws but with different usages, one's strength would definitely be different. Law comprehension was the inner work, the techniques were blade work, etc. Of course, these were just examples. The Golden Horned Beast's technique is the Sky-Tearing Claw. The Mosha clansman uses the illusionary techniques. The Earth Body uses the Nanshan armament. As it slowly gets more and more ineffective, I will begin to study the Nanshan 36 levels and create a better technique for myself. As for Time-Space Scribbles, the Beast God statue and so on, these are all for my comprehension. Even the Deities of the World is a strengthening technique. Law comprehension is the absolute. Hence I will spend most of my focus on it. When they reach a bottleneck level, then I will study the battle techniques. Luo Feng thought, that will be the way. After planning out his long period stay, Luo Feng left his living quarters and headed to his teacher Tru Yang Emperor's residence to visit him. The entrance to the residence was wide open. The scanning system on the door scanned Luo Feng and confirmed that he had the right to enter, naturally not stopping him. Luo Feng sneaked into the residence and quickly reached a 10 kilometers wide and long plaza. There, close to 1,000 warriors had gathered and were respectfully sitting and listening. Ahead was a golden armored ape man sitting crossed-legged, explaining the 9 universe tablets' 4th picture. Teacher. Luo Feng thought within, not daring to disrupt his class, and he sat in the corner. Tru Yang noticed an additional Luo Feng in the corner as he taught, smiling before he continued on with his class. After a while, today's class ends here. Tru Yang said indifferently. Thank you, teacher. The close to 1,000 warriors all bowed respectfully below. Tru Yang Emperor sure is powerful. I've already comprehended the 5th picture, but hearing him explain the 4th picture still gives me greater insight. Looks like I haven't fully comprehended the 4th picture. Completely comprehending it is really hard. I heard that the 1st of March pictures have a total of 108 wonders, and fully comprehending these 108 wonders is 10 to hundreds of times harder than simply finishing the 4th picture. The warriors all discussed and dispersed from the plaza. Luo Feng, however, walked up to his teacher. Part 1 end here. Even with the many changes in dynasties and eras in ancient China, they all uniformly agreed that anyone who were disrespectful or disobedient to their parents should die. There were even punishments such as flaying or slow deaths for such actions. It was obvious the level of filial piety was respected at a very high level. In contrast, in modern eras, especially during the new eras, not taking care of one's parents and even hitting them had become common. However, without the background of ancient Chinese culture, people didn't think of it as a crime at all. Luo Feng, however, trained in mental states. He had always respected his parents from young. After which, when he found himself through mental state training, he understood more of the ancient history texts. Like during the spring and autumn era, there was an incident of which a son reported his father for stealing a goat. The son, however, was punished instead for not being filial. Qin Guo of ancient China was incredibly strict and heavy on its rules. It was, however, more lax on being filial, with the entire country lacking the most basic respect. How could its citizens truly be loyal? How could the country be steady? Hence, both of them had naturally collapsed. There were many stories regarding this in history, but it all showed one thing: filial piety. It was humanity's most basic element. If a person couldn't even do this, and was bad to his parents, then how could he be loyal to anybody else? Especially to a country? For such a person, if he wasn't brainwashed, he was extremely selfish. If he can't even be filial to his parents, then within his heart, there would never truly be anybody he respected other than himself. Extreme selfishness. Of all virtues, filial piety comes first. Even if my father had sinned, I will bear it for him. I will also advise him to change. As for punishment, as a son, I will never do it. Luo Feng thought, separating business and personal matters. Maybe what the virtual universe company needs is one that would perfectly execute its missions, and one that would never disobey their orders. Even if it involved family, their mission importance should still exceed that of even their family. This is probably what they need. A pity. The company's orders are not even worth a fraction of my father's importance. Excessive? I don't think so. Luo Feng thought. The next day. Virtual Universe Company, Black Dragon Mountain 9-Star Bay. Luo Feng sat with his father Luo Hongguo and mother Gong Xinlan. Dad, Mum. Luo Feng poured tea for them. Why have you called us over today? Gong Xinlan looked at their son, smiling. Luo Feng smiled and changed the subject. Dad, Mum, did you two build a Nirvana union in the virtual games? How do you know? Luo Hongguo's eyes gleamed as he heard. He said, that grey snow world is incredibly vast, it makes one go dizzy within. I can ride a flying beast and fly through endless snow worlds. Hihi, a million-strong army clashing against each other is just too cool. The word cool was something his father's generation often used. Haha. Luo Feng saw his father's excitement and couldn't help but laugh. For his father to live the life of his dreams, he was already very satisfied. Dad, Mum, let me show you something. Luo Feng said. After which he brandished some information with regards to Nirvana Union's people killing others. After getting the data from the information department, with Luo Feng's questioning, he had confirmed that the information was the lowest level of information, and with his position, he could show it to them. What is this? His parents looked on curiously, as they received the file and looked at it. They grew silent for a while. Luo Feng sat there and patiently waited. As they stared at the file, their expressions grew uglier, even to the point where Luo Hongguo slammed the table fiercely. His eyes were gleaming as he cursed, bastards, a bunch of ingrates. I treated them as my life and death brothers, I didn't expect them to use me. Xinlan, when you advised me not to be so trusting before, I thought that all these were simply within the virtual universe, and that we can eat, drink and kill others without any repercussions. How thrilling. I didn't expect. I didn't know. Dad. Luo Feng saw the state his father was in and knew he had taken quite a blow. Luo Hongguo sat down, his eyes pained. Gong Xinlan sat beside him and consoled him. So many people died. Luo Hongguo's voice shook. Dad, you can only be blamed for your poor judgment of character. However, the ones truly responsible for killing are those bastards. Luo Feng said. But they used my position and power. He shook his head. Wrong, in truth, they are using my position. Luo Feng said. If it weren't for me, why would the Black Dragon Mountain Empire and Ganwu Universe Country avoid and fear you? Luo Hongguo felt extremely bad within. Luo Feng was very clear that showing them the data would hurt his parents badly. But despite that, he still had to show them that he had to admonish them. Dad, Mum. Luo Feng changed the topic to take their minds off it. I'm about to leave. Leave? The two of them looked at him curiously. Doesn't he leave often? I will be going away for a very long this time, at least 1,000 years. Luo Feng emphasized. Hence, it will be quite a while before I can return to Earth, even the virtual universe. I will only come once in a long while. Where are you going? The two asked. Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng replied. He had been there before, hence his parents knew some simple things about it. After the highest point mission was completed, Luo Feng had immediately requested to head to Primal Chaos City. As a core disciple, during Universe level, Domain Lord level and Sector Lord level, he could enter to train there. Luo Feng's request naturally went through quickly. After which, through God Country teleportation, Dylan sent him straight to the Virtual Universe Company's main headquarters. After which, he took the company's ship along with other Undyings and entered Primal Chaos City. Dylan and the other guards couldn't follow. According to his plan, when he left Primal Chaos City, he would already be Sector Lord Pinnacle. When that happened, he would no longer have a guard team. Meaning, at this time, the guard team had left him for good. The universe was evolving all the time. The Primal Universe, however, was a small universe that was in its early evolution stage. There were many splits and tears in the space with thread-like crystal energies flowing and repairing. Each time it repaired, it would tear open again and repeat for eternity.